What's going on? Brian Tong here, and is 2026 the year of the Ultra for Apple? Plus a bunch of iPhone fold reports and more. But let's jump in, and a recent report from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman claims Apple is planning to launch at least 3 new Ultra-level devices this year. We know Apple has the entry-level markets pretty much covered with the iPhone E series, the Apple Watch SE, iPad 11, and then the new MacBook Neo, which feels like it's going to be huge for Apple. And thanks to all of you who've been checking out the Neo and my other recent review videos, I saw some of the old Apple purists say, Steve Jobs would never. And you know what? You're right. It's also a different time and a different economy, and I would have died to have an Apple laptop capable of that when I was in college for $5.99 or even high school. It's one of the smartest business moves Apple has ever made because the Neo is that good at that price. But let's talk about these rumored Ultra devices, right? Apple's now setting their sights on an even higher end market that goes beyond Pro with a significant shift towards their Ultra devices this year. The first being the iPhone Ultra. Now, this may not be its official name, but it feels like it could be. We're talking about a rumored foldable iPhone that we're expecting to see launch this year with a price tag around $2,000 with Apple's first foldable iPhone. And Apple doesn't want to use the word fold because everyone's already doing it, right? So Ultra, it does make sense. We've got a whole lot more to talk about with that iPhone Ultra. We're going to do that later, but what about another device? AirPods Ultra? Right, which would be priced above the current AirPods Pro at the top of the lineup and feature the long-rumored computer vision cameras to identify things and places around you by feeding what it sees to Apple Intelligence and Siri. Okay, finally, the third one, a new MacBook Ultra. Yes, we got the new M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pros, but Apple reportedly isn't stopping there. Rumors and reports have pointed to a new MacBook Pro with an all-new body and design with a touchscreen OLED display that will increase the price by roughly 20%, according to Gurman's report. This new machine wouldn't replace the current MacBook Pros, but it would sit above them as an Ultra model. Again, it doesn't mean the Ultra name is coming to everything, but they already have the Apple Watch Ultra, the M Series Ultra chips in their Mac Studio. The expectation is that this Ultra tier of products will eventually include the iPad and the Mac, like this rumored foldable iPad with an OLED display, and then a more powerful iMac with a larger display. So Ultra, all right? We're at Pro, Max, Super Saiyan, Ultra. We have Super not yet, but Apple did do Super Cores. Now, let's talk a little bit about that MacBook Ultra, okay? We've heard the rumors that we might see another MacBook Pro model added to the lineup in the fourth quarter of this year. According to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman and others, it may either come out this year or show up in the beginning of next year. But not only will it reportedly have a slimmer body and a touchscreen OLED display, but a new M6 series chip. And it's the reason I'm holding out for this next big revamp to the MacBook Pro line, or I guess it might be called the Ultra. I've been riding with my M1 Max MacBook Pro, and I'm curious to see if it will be compelling enough for me to make the upgrades. But now you can really see Apple's strategy with a product at every price point, even more diversified. Apple is currently selling 5 different iPhone models at the same time, at different prices at this moment. And with the MacBook Neo, the MacBook Air, and the MacBook Pro, this new MacBook Ultra would add another model to the lineup. You know, I've talked about how the diversity of iPhones and the maturity of the market is almost like the car industry now. Apple is now making different iPhone models for people with different needs and use cases. Because if you look at the iPhone lineup now, you have the E series, you got the standard 17, the iPhone Air, and the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max. They each have a distinct appeal to a different type of user, but that doesn't stop anyone from buying any of them, right? It just depends on what you need. And I've always wanted Apple to actually throw in something else. Just make this like super tough and durable iPhone that is deliberately thicker to get something like a 2-day plus battery life. Just make it chunky on purpose, and that feels more like an iPhone Ultra to me than a foldable iPhone that you're calling an Ultra. So we'll see where this all goes this year, but 2026 could possibly be the year of the Ultra for Apple that would also complement Apple's 50th anniversary on April the 1st. Apple CEO Tim Cook has been talking about 50 years of Apple. They just did a recent celebration, and he announced that they will be planning things around the 50th anniversary, and Apple will be hosting gatherings around the world throughout the month of March. So we'll see how it all comes together and which cities they will be celebrating in. All right, everybody, let's just take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, Anker. This is the Anker Prime Thunderbolt 5 docking station. If you're a video editor, photographer, or even a creator like me who needs fast transfer speeds and are planning to get the latest M5 Pro or M5 Max MacBook Pro, then the Anker Thunderbolt 5 docking station is definitely a must-have. It's the industry's first Thunderbolt 5 docking station with built-in power supply, perfectly matched for the MacBook Pros. Now, I've been using it for a few months, and it's kept my work area cleaner while being extremely efficient. It has one Thunderbolt 5 upstream port and two Thunderbolt 5 downstream ports with transfer speeds up to 120 gigabits per second. That's basically less than 25 seconds for a 150 gig file and twice as fast as Thunderbolt 4. It can deliver 140 watts high-speed charging, plus you can connect up to two 8K displays running at 60 Hz or two 4K displays running at 240 Hz. This is a 14-in-1 dock. You'll have two USB-A 10 gigabit ports here, then a 2.5 gigabits per second Ethernet port, and then you can use either an HDMI 2.1 or DisplayPort 2.1. You can only use one or the other, but not both at the same time. And then your AC in for power to the docking station is here. On the front, you have the main power button, and then a fun feature is that when it's turned on, the top has a nice blue ambient light glow detail around the top. Then from left to right, there's the audio in and out, two USB-C ports with 45 watts total output between the two for charging, and then again a USB-A 10 gigabits port. On the side here, you also have slots for an SD card and micro SD card. And I said this is a 14-in-1 Thunderbolt 5 docking station, and it really has it all. Everything you see here, this is it. You won't see any massive power brick with this because in another industry first from Anker, GaN materials are being used in the docking station, so they have a small built-in power supply. No big chunky power brick is here at all. What you see is what you get. And that means you have a cleaner desktop with a compact form factor that delivers 140 watts of total output power. So check out the link in the description to find out more about the Anker Prime Thunderbolt 5 docking station. Okay, let's get back to the stories. And there's a lot of new info that has been put out about the new iPhone folder. I guess we could just call it the Ultra for now. Mark Gurman recently reported that the rumored iPhone Fold will operate like a cross-pollination of an iPhone and an iPad, which makes sense. Now, according to the report, when it's opened up, it will feel like an iPad layout with two apps that can even exist side-by-side split screen. That's something no iPhone has been able to do up to this point, not even the Pro Max, much to people's disappointment. A lot of the apps, though, will have sidebars on the left, and then developers will be given tools to adapt their current apps to this iPhone Fold layout. Now, when closed, it will act like an iPhone on its outer screen, and then when opened, it will be similar to the size of an iPad mini. Apple's reportedly using a 4:3 aspect ratio when opened, which would match its iPad aspect ratio as well. And even if it will have an iPad-style layout, the report says it will be running iOS and not iPad OS and will not run existing iPad OS apps. And it will not support some of the iPad's multitasking features, which might be a good thing for a device like this. So anything iPad OS related, not really related to the new Foldable, but it will be presented in a way similar to it. Now, Apple reportedly tried out an underneath inner display camera, but the camera quality was too poor for their liking, and then went with a hole punch camera that you will be able to see that black dot on screen. Another report by user Instant Digital, who has shown to be pretty reliable on the micro-blogging site Weibo, says this new iPhone Fold will come in three storage options: 256 gigs of storage, 512, and 1 terabyte, with the new Fold estimated to cost somewhere between $1,800 and $2,500. So translation, start your instant ramen diet now to save up for this thing. Like now. Now, those are the same three storage options as the iPhone 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max. Remember, that also has a 2 terabyte storage option, which I hope becomes an option for all 18 Pro level devices this year. Also, Korea-based media outlet The Bell reports that the new foldable iPhone will also come with 12 gigs of memory that will be supplied by Samsung. Now, there is a supply chain issue with memory and solid-state drive components. Some have reportedly even tripled or quadrupled in price right now. That's thanks to the AI industry, who has created a shortage by just buying up all the memory. So that's expected to drive the prices of tech products even higher this year, and it just remains to be seen how Apple will deal with this or how it actually affects their pricing. But we are expecting to see this new iPhone Fold this September. All right, unfortunately, there also might be some other new Apple products that are going to be held back from launching until September this year. Apple's rumored smart home hub was expected to be released last year in the spring until the complete failure of Apple Intelligence. You know how I feel about that. Ugh. It is now going to be postponed until September, according to Bloomberg. Now, the Apple Smart Home Hub is expected to be a device with a similar design to an iPad, but with a 7-inch square display that can be attached to a wall or rest on a speaker base. A report claims it will offer a magnetic snap-to-wall feature that feels very MagSafe-like to just pop up on your wall, and will also have doorbell integration with compatible doorbell cameras to check it out and control from it. It will also include a camera on the Smart Home Hub for facial recognition, to know which user is interacting with it, and display content for those known users. Now, the Apple Smart Home Hub has been delayed multiple times, right? I feel like we've talked about this story more than a few times, but it's reportedly been finished and is now ready to launch, and it's been ready for a few months. It just can't be released until Apple grinds out all the issues with the new Siri update because it's so heavily reliant on it. Now, Siri reportedly still has issues with accuracy and responding, and we don't know at what level Google's Gemini will be integrated as well at this point. We know about that deal that's happening, but all of this is causing not just the Apple Smart Home Hub to be delayed, but other products as well. So if it does get pushed out to September, then that also means we shouldn't expect to see any of the new Siri capabilities until iOS 27, which will be previewed in June at WWDC, but then rolled out in September with the new iPhones and the iOS 27 update. Now, Apple has promised that this new version of Apple Intelligence and Siri will come out in 2026, so they have until December 31st. And there have been just so many delays. Just wake me up when it actually happens. Okay. And you know what? Other products have been casualties from this Apple Intelligence fallout. The new version of a HomePod and new Apple TV 4K. They're all ready to go, according to reports, multiple reports. But guess who's holding them up? Our good friend Siri and the new Apple Intelligence. And I said it earlier, but they have to hold out and really launch this new Siri, right? Make it a big deal. Show us how much better it is, how much better it's going to be, and really better integrated with each other for Apple's first real push into the smart home ecosystem. Like, the wait is real, and we've legitimately heard about updates of the HomePod Mini and the Apple TV 4K since back in 2024, and here we are in 2026. So just keep waiting, and I'll keep seeing those comments on almost every video I put out asking me, when is the next Apple TV coming? All right, and in an Apple-related story, check this out. Google Maps. They just added Gemini AI to their maps and allows it to answer more complex real-world questions while using map data that Maps couldn't do before. It's called Ask Maps, and you can ask it something like, is there a public tennis court with the lights on that I can play at tonight? And it'll show you that. Or you can do something like, where's the nearest card shop that sells Pokemon cards that's still open right now? So you can use more natural language to get results in real time. You can even plan out multiple activities in a day if you're visiting the city. Ask Maps, this feature is available for any iOS and Android device that supports the latest version of Google Maps. Now, they're also introducing what they call immersive navigation, which they say is the biggest update to driving in Google Maps in over a decade. So this might look familiar. It's a 3D view that shows buildings and overpasses and terrain, similar to what Apple Maps has been doing for years, and one of the reasons it's been so good for a while now, especially visually, right? So this works on specific iOS and Android devices, so that's iPhone 13 Pro and higher, and then Google Pixel 9 and higher, and Samsung S24 Ultra models and higher. This Google Maps feature, it will be compatible with CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can check it out, but it is available now, and other features will be rolling out over time. So, all right. That is going to do it for this video. Hey, if you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/BrianTong. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Peace and love.